So there are two main ways that you can aim with a recurve bow. You can aim actively by trying to really put the dot where you're trying to aim, or you can aim a bit more passively where you're looking at where you're trying to aim and letting it all fall into place. So normally, if you're aiming actively, the dot will be in focus and the target will be a little bit blurry, whereas a passive aiming process will have the target in focus with the dot a little bit blurry. So when you're aiming actively, you're really trying to hold that dot nice and steady on the target, just by reducing as much movement as possible, whereas aiming passively, you're looking at where you're trying to aim, you're not controlling it super tightly, and you're letting it flow and fall into position at the right moment. When you aim actively, you may feel like you have more control over where the arrow is going, and by doing so, you can try and hold steadier and be more precise with your shot. For people that aim passively, they'll find that they're more relaxed because they don't have the tension in their body of trying to hold that as steady as they can. Historically, you'll find that passive aiming is more of a recurve thing, and real active aiming has got more to do with compound shooting. So a lot of archers might shoot with a dot or a circle or a crosshair, and that comes down to personal preference, and there's different pros and cons to each. With a dot, you might find you can be a bit more precise with your aiming point, whereas with a circle, it's easier to look through and passively aim. And archers that use a crosshair might like that for a reference point for their canting. So I would recommend for beginners to learn to aim passively, so that way they can focus more on their technique and making sure they've got that under control. And as they develop as an archer, they can make the decision to shoot passively or actively in their aiming.
Even more, and it's a lot of force. They're trying to move fast. It's not just about holding steady, it's about executing good form, good, strong, dynamic shots.
So when I'm shooting, I'll look at the flags or other indicators that I can see on the field, maybe where the other person's arrow has gone, and then I'll decide where I'm aiming. And when I do that, I raise the bow to the aiming point and come down on it, and maintain my focus on that aiming point and let the dot fall into place. Very rarely would I move my aiming point during the shot, but on special occasions you might find the wind's done a full 180, or maybe your teammate in a team round has said a different aiming point, and you take that on board and just make your best decision. It would be highly recommended that you're looking at your aiming point right before you raise your bow. Everything will start to line up as you get to full draw, and so that's when your sight's coming into picture, and really, whether you're an active aimer or a passive aimer, you're already looking at that point and bringing it into your spot.
And a first 10 there for Tyak.
It doesn't really matter how long you're aiming on that point, so if you're there for 3 seconds, 2 seconds, or even a millisecond, if everything's lined up at the moment that your clicker goes off, it's going to be fine.